Advocates for the hungry are condemning tens of thousands of gallons of milk and other dairy products sitting in a shuttered plant in Waukesha could potentially go to waste. WISN 12 News was the first to report that the Golden Guernsey processing plant closed abruptly last weekend after 83 years in business. Its owner, Open Gate Capital, then filed for bankruptcy protection. The sudden closure left more than 100 people without jobs and had schools scrambling to line up new milk suppliers. Milk, cottage cheese, butter, and eggs were all left behind in the plant's coolers. That led the Hunger Task Force to launch an effort to have the leftover products donated to those in need. Joined now by Sherry Tussler, the Hunger Task Force Executive Director. Good morning, Sherry. Thank you for coming in. Let's talk first about what's the latest on your efforts in this?
I was able to reach an attorney yesterday that represents the bankruptcy filing and a trustee, and he informed me that they had drained the coolers of their coolant. So we're thinking that the milk may be spoiling right now. We're just not confident what's really going on.
You're trying to get to the bottom of it. In the event that there is milk there that can be salvaged, you guys want to try to get it and obviously use it, it sounds like. And we do want to mention that WISN 12 has tried contacting all of the parties involved here. Golden Guernsey's attorney would not comment. The bankruptcy trustee and governor's office have not responded to our request for information. WISN 12 News, though, certainly will continue to follow the story closely and will pass along any updates as soon as they become available.
Thousands of gallons of milk at a closed-down Golden Guernsey dairy plant will not be allowed to be donated to charity. The 83-year-old dairy company in Waukesha closed unexpectedly. The Hunger Task Force then asked the company's investment owner to donate the unused milk. Organizers from the charity say the company's attorney told them yesterday that the state had the dairy drain the ammonia from the refrigerators, so the dairy items have not been on ice. The attorney has refused to comment.
Advocates for the hungry are trying to figure out how they can get their hands on tens of thousands of gallons of milk and other dairy products that were left after the Golden Guernsey plant closed in Waukesha. They don't want to see the items go to waste. Earlier this week, the 83-year-old processor abruptly closed, filing for bankruptcy. That left more than 100 people without jobs and schools scrambling to find new milk suppliers. Everything from milk, cottage cheese, butter, and eggs are still in the plant coolers. A Golden Guernsey trustee says he's concerned about the liability of the products if they're given away. However, a Hunger Task Force executive is appealing, citing that state protects such donations.
How can all the milk left behind at Waukesha's Golden Guernsey plant be put to good use? The plant closed without warning last weekend. Thousands of gallons of milk and other dairy products were left inside. The Hunger Task Force says it got the go-ahead from the state to take that milk, but the company's attorney told them the milk was unusable after state officials told the company to drain the ammonia from the refrigeration system there.
Closing of a local dairy plant, this is it. The Hunger Task Force now getting all the leftover dairy products from the recently shuttered Golden Guernsey plant in Waukesha. In fact, those products are being distributed statewide as we speak. The task force could still use some help, however, from local trucking companies. They're asking anyone who could spare a truck and or a driver for a day to get in touch with them as soon as possible.
Shuttered Golden Guernsey plant is being donated to needy people here in Madison. The 83-year-old dairy processor in Waukesha closed abruptly earlier this month, leaving more than 100 people without jobs and making schools scramble to line up new milk suppliers. The products were donated to Milwaukee-based Hunger Task Force and will be delivered to people in need in several Wisconsin cities, including Madison.
News tonight, some of the milk from the recently shut down Golden Guernsey plant in Waukesha will be distributed to the needy here in western Wisconsin. The 83-year-old dairy processor closed abruptly January 5th, leaving behind plenty of milk and food. The products were donated to the Milwaukee-based Hunger Task Force. The group said today it's still trying to determine exactly how much of the goods are still fresh. It's hoping to get help from trucking companies to make deliveries to cities around the state, including Eau Claire and La Crosse.
Being recovered from the bankrupt Golden Guernsey dairy is now twice that initial estimate. Crews working for the Hunger Task Force have so far hauled 15 semi-truckloads of milk from the dairy. The effort is the result of a 12 News investigation as well that revealed the milk was abandoned when the dairy suddenly closed. 12 News' Nick Bohr is live at the Hunger Task Force where they're distributing more than they ever imagined, Nick.
All right, Greg, this is some of the latest stuff to come out of the dairy today. These full gallons right here, part of 7 more truckloads. Let me show you where that stuff is heading. This is an entire semi-load of milk right now that is off to Eau Claire in just minutes from now. And these trucks like this are heading now all over the state. Even a day after the milk started arriving by the truckload to Hunger Task Force in Milwaukee, the director, Sherry Tussler, can hardly believe it. The quantity is so overwhelming, 15 semi-loads so far. They put out a call for volunteer drivers and trucks, a call that was answered by a dozen trucking companies.
Obviously, they heard on the news last night, people want to help out. No one wants to see this product go to waste, and so people have generously offered to volunteer. We're using volunteers, both truck drivers as well as people here on our dock, in order to be able to load and serve our local community, but we're also working very feverishly at the plant to recover as much product as we possibly can.
We reported last week the dairy's trustee was prepared to let the milk go to waste because of the bankruptcy proceeding. Tussler was able to convince him to release it Tuesday.
Gallons of milk that all the families are going to get with their pantry today.
It's already getting to the food pantry.
I need number 42.
And so the Central City Church's food pantry say they're grateful.
I'm on a tight budget, and this is a great help. But the milk is very healthy for good for your body anyway.
Including Nathan Sears, who says he heard about it on the news and came strictly to get a gallon of milk, which he considers critical.
Regardless of what the price is, it's like gas. You got to buy gas to keep the car running. You got to buy milk to keep the belly running.
And Hunger Task Force plans to work all week to keep it coming.
It's sort of all hands on deck here at Hunger Task Force, but we're taking those calls, we're responding to people in need, and we're making sure that we get as much of that product rescued as possible.
And all this milk is coming and obviously going here at the same time that Hunger Task Force is dealing with all the regular food donations and deliveries they would make. So certainly a very, very busy week here, but they are rising to the occasion. Live at Hunger Task Force in Milwaukee. WISN 12 News.
All right, Nick, thanks. And the milk is not just helping those, as we've spoken here in our viewing area. The milk's going everywhere, from Kenosha to Racine over to Madison into Oconto County as well. Trucks have already delivered or currently en route. And as Nick mentioned, a shipment is also expected in Eau Claire tomorrow.
It's from the Golden Guernsey plant now in local shelters to be handed out to families in need. We told you last night how leftover items from the plant were being donated to the Hunger Task Force. And today, representatives from area pantries picked up some of those products.
The people are going to be just elated. They're going to have milk for their families and the children. So it's going to be just great.
The task force is still looking for local trucking companies to help get those dairy products delivered to other parts of the state. They hope to have everything shipped by Friday.
Only on 12 tonight, local trucking companies come forward to deliver milk from the bankrupt Golden Guernsey dairy to those in need across Wisconsin. It all stems from a 12 News investigation that revealed the milk would have gone to waste. Jason Newton is live outside the Hunger Task Force. Jason, a large effort there tonight.
You can see the trucks at the ready for another big day tomorrow, and with more milk being pulled out of that plant in Waukesha than expected, the job of delivering it has been a really tall order. And you'll remember last night the Hunger Task Force put out the request for anyone with a box truck or a semi to come forward, and that call was answered. Half truck will travel. JNR Transportation is on the road for charity come Thursday to haul a product that they've grown up with.
I sure was a milk fan. I still am a milk fan. I prefer chocolate milk.
Their rig idles now, poised to get in on this. Crate after crate of Golden Guernsey milk now distributed through the Hunger Task Force, preventing it from going to waste through the company's bankruptcy.
So we figured it'd be a good opportunity for us to give back to the community. After all, we are in the business of helping people.
And a dozen companies like JNR are pitching in.
I just figured it was a good opportunity to help some people in need. Being a family-owned and operated corporation, we realize what a hardship is like.
It's become a team effort. That's their cab, and the refrigerated trailer was donated to them by Custom Fleet, parts of an effort to move milk before time runs out.
It's a total race against time. We are meeting at the beginning of the morning, we're meeting at lunch, and we're meeting at the close of business every day to figure out what we can get accomplished and who's doing what.
The Hunger Task Force has hauled away 15 semi-loads, and they expect to keep working through Friday. Now, the guys at JNR say that they'll get an early start tomorrow morning. They'll show up here with their truck. They are expected to make some stops in Watoma, the Dells, and Beaver Dam. In Milwaukee, Jason Newton, WISN 12 News.
All right, Jason, as Jason just mentioned, the milk is helping people all across Wisconsin, from Kenosha and Racine over to Madison, up into Oconto County as well. Trucks have already delivered or en route to those areas. A shipment is expected in Eau Claire tomorrow.
Milk to area food pantries. Golden Guernsey, now closed and in bankruptcy proceedings, gave Milwaukee's Hunger Task Force permission to retrieve about 50 truckloads of milk now just sitting inside the dairy's closed Waukesha plant. The milk expires soon, and food banks around the state are scrambling to receive the milk. A semi-truck filled with about 25 pallets was headed for northeast Wisconsin this morning. But on the trip, the semi's load shifted and the milk leaked and the cartons were damaged, and so they'll try again tomorrow.
The Hunger Task Force picks up its final haul of milk from the bankrupt Golden Guernsey plant. Cell phone video shows rows of empty shelves inside the dairy that were once filled floor to ceiling with milk. The Hunger Task Force tells 12 News that they received in all 27 semi-loads of milk that totaled more than 128,000 gallons. They say being able to give a whole gallon of milk to those in need is rare.
To get a whole full gallon of milk, whole milk, skim milk, chocolate milk, we had every kind of milk out there, was really exciting for a lot of people. To see the mass distributions that happened in Eau Claire and Green Bay, it really was heartwarming for all of us.
The deliveries across Wisconsin followed a 12 News investigation that uncovered thousands of gallons of milk trapped inside the plant.
A Milwaukee group that helps the homeless and needy raises their milk glasses and toasts to the Hunger Task Force. That's because they just got a huge shipment of milk for free. The repairers of the breach got a total of about 2,500 gallons of milk, all of which came from the closed Golden Guernsey plant. Meanwhile, those at the Resource Center couldn't be happier about the calcium-rich gift.
The scope of this is so huge, and our people are very grateful, so we wanted to express our thanks to Hunger Task Force. Tremendously helpful, just an amazing thing what they have done.
The Hunger Task Force fought hard to get their hands on the milk that otherwise would have gone to waste. Since then, they've been delivering the milk to groups all across the state.
It's interesting to see how the process and it all works. That it goes to Hunger Task Force, and then they feed these smaller groups out in the community, and eventually, down to families and people who need it.
People who need it the most.
Yeah,
I like that.